I'll hand over the stage to our moderator.
May I request everyone to kindly take their seats, please, so that we can get started. We have a very distinguished panel. So first of all, a very warm good morning again to all of you. My name is Saroj Kumar Jha. I'm the World Bank's Global Director for Water Global Practice in Washington, D.C. And I want to thank the Government of Indonesia, the Coordinating Ministry for Infrastructure, and the entire government actually for inviting the World Bank Group to be part of it. At the World Bank Group, we are very privileged to be a long-standing partner of the people and the government of Indonesia. And me personally, I'm very happy to be part of this and trying to moderate a panel which is on a very exciting topic. The topic for this plenary, the first plenary, is future-proofing cities, revitalizing basic urban infrastructure. Let me begin by asking a question. I know you don't have a mic, but you can shout from if you have the answer. Can anyone tell me the name of a future-proof city today? Is there any city which is considered future-proof by various global analysts and ranking organizations? Anyone? Globally. Anyone wants to make a guess? Singapore. Any more guesses? Anybody else?
China,
Shenzhen. So there are future-proof cities today in the world, including New York, London, Paris, Melbourne, Edinburgh, and of course many other cities' names were mentioned. But if you really look across these cities, can anyone tell me what is common among all these cities? Any guesses? What is common among these cities? The most common element among the future-proof cities today is the presence of technological hub. All these cities have very strong presence of tech startups, unicorns. Really, you have a very large pool of talent trying to solve tomorrow's problems today. So I think that particular element of uniqueness of the future-proof cities tells you something about what we should be doing to really looking forward. But three broad elements, and then I'll turn to the panel, that we need to keep in mind why and how we could work towards future-proofing city. One is, of course, the talent that I just mentioned. No city will be future-proof without talent. So the city governments, stakeholders will have to work towards retaining and supporting high talent in the cities. The second is this whole issue of managing technological change. Things are changing very, very rapidly. So how do cities really, and more broadly the urban ecosystem, establish the capacity both in terms of policy and regulations to be able to benefit from the technological change and not be impacted adversely by the technological changes that are happening? And three, which I think is important, is the agility. If you have a city or the urban system which takes time to respond to the changes, you are not future-proof. You have to be really agile. You've got to create a system where all stakeholders quickly come together and kind of respond to those threats, whether natural disasters, technological changes, cyber security, etc. We are able to move very, very quickly in that. So with those introductory remarks on my side, I'm going to introduce the panel we have. And the way I'm going to do it is that each panelist will have 3 minutes, will have 3 rounds of questions. First question will be focused on strategy. The second question will be focused on looking forward, looking ahead, anticipating challenges and what plans they're putting in place to deal with them. And the third will be about financing, because I heard the coordinating minister for infrastructure talked about innovative financing, and you definitely need investments if you really want to make the city future-proof. So I have 4 distinguished panelists, as I said. First, I want to introduce Pak Afan Adrian Shah Idris, Assistant for Development and Environment of the Regional Secretary of the Jakarta Province. Welcome, sir. Pak Afan, as the Assistant for Development and Environment of the Regional Secretary at the Jakarta Province, he has a master's degree in General Economics from University Padjadran and a bachelor's degree in Civil Engineering from the Universitas Trisakti. He brings a multidisciplinary approach to sustainable urban development. His role focuses on integrating environment policy with infrastructure planning to support Jakarta's vision for becoming a resilient and inclusive city. Welcome, Pak Afan. Next, I want to welcome Pak Emil Dardak, Acting Governor of East Java. It's great to have you on the panel, sir. Emil, born on, I will not disclose his date of birth. Emil serves as the Vice Governor of East Java. Prior to this role, he was the Regent of Trenggalek Regency from 2016 to 2019. He is an alumnus of the Raffles Institution, University of New South Wales, and Ritsu Maikan Asia Pacific University, where he earned a doctorate in development economics at age 22. Wow. Dardak has also completed an MSc at the St. Anne's College, Oxford. His career includes being a World Bank officer. It's great to have a World Bank colleague on the panel. And Executive Vice President at PT Penjaminan Infrastructure Indonesia. He assumed the Vice Governor position alongside Governor Khofia Indra Parwansa after winning the 2018 East Java governorial election. Thank you. Welcome on the panel, Pak. Next, we have Pak Arief Vishnu Kahayono. My pronunciation is going to be terrible, but my apologies in advance. Pak Vishnu is the chairman of Indonesia Water Supply Association. He is an experienced water professional, currently serving as the managing director of Surabaya City Water Supply Utility, which delivers clean water to over 3 million people with nearly 100% service coverage. He's also the chairman of Permamsi, the Indonesia Water Supply Association, representing 445 utilities and 73 water-related companies. It's great to have you on the panel. I know we have a water and wastewater forum coming up in the afternoon, and all of you, please do come to that forum in the afternoon. I'm doing some promotion for you, given my interest in water agenda. And last but not the least, Pak Nanang Hendrano, the Chief Technology Officer of the PT Telecom Indonesia. Nanang Hendrano currently serves as the Chief Technology Officer of the Telkom Group and bringing over 3 decades of leadership in telecommunications and digital infrastructure. With a solid foundation in electrical engineering from the Institute Technology, Sepula, November, and a master's in space system engineering from the Delft University of Technology, Nanang has held strategic roles across Telecom Group. He has a very impressive bio. So welcome, Pak Nanang, to the panel. I'm going to start with you, Pak Afan, and this is going to be a question to all of you. I really want to understand where you sit in Jakarta government. What's your strategy for future-proofing this city? Because we heard a lot about sinking city, problems of subsidence, flooding, droughts, and you're doing a lot. I can see a vibrant city. What's really your strategy? You have have a microphone next to you. Yeah, this is different with this. Sorry? This is different with this one. Sorry? The question is what? You can say what you want to say. You can this is what I'm for. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Mr.
Is that okay?
Mr.
Saroj.
Okay, Mr. Farrods. In this good opportunity, please allow me to explain about our experience, how to manage the transportation in Jakarta. In Jakarta, we part of the Greater Jakarta, and you know, for the Greater Jakarta, totally we have 88 million trips per day, according to the JP study on 2018. And we in Jakarta, we have 31 million trips per day. This is a huge enough number, yeah. But unfortunately, only 12% from the citizen using the public transport. So it's still a little amount, yeah. So we in Jakarta, for the solution, according to our document, midterm planning and spatial planning, we have target by 2030, 27% of the public transport, of the citizen using the public transport. And according to the spatial planning, by 2044, around 55% from the citizen using the public transport. And how to achieve? We have some strategy. The first about push strategy. Here, you know that we have an odd-even plate number policy now implemented in 26 routes. And the second, we also have the parking disincentive policy implemented in 51 locations. And now the new one, every Wednesday, it starts this month. The governor ordered to the whole employee of DKI Jakarta, we have to use the public transport. That's the push strategy. And the pull strategy, you know that now we expand for integrating our network for MRT, LRT, and Transjakarta, also microtrans. And MRT will be accomplished in 2027 until Monas. And for MRT East-West, it will be accomplished until 2032. And the LRT will be accomplished next year. And the other, for the new route of the Transjakarta, the governor declared for the new 5 routes of Jakarta to Alam Sutra, Pik, Vida, kemudian Bogor, and also Sawangan. And now already serving for 17,000 passengers per day. And what is the importance of pull factor in Jakarta? We provide a flat fare system via Jaklingko, and it's very cheap. Only you have to pay 10,000 rupiah. And the new one, policy from the governor, we give the free fares for 15 eligible groups for free access to public transportation. And the important subject for the full factor, we in Jakarta providing some aesthetic infrastructure, and maybe you know, like Halte Hotel Indonesia and JPO PDC, why we create for the aesthetic infrastructure, because we want to give the new experience for the whole citizen using the public transport in Jakarta. Thank you.
Well, thank you. This is very impressive. I must tell you that I was visiting Bogor city day for yesterday. Of course, we were looking at the water supply and sanitation services, and the tremendous progress has been made in this city, but I guess you have a lot of work ahead of you. I realize that at least 50% people do not have access to safely managed drinking water. So I guess some of these issues will be addressed by the government as part of the future-proofing strategy. But let me go to Pak Dardak, the acting governor of East Java. As a regional government, what's your strategy for future-proofing East Java? I know the organizers had mentioned specific sectors in which you will be answering your question, but you have the freedom in talking about the strategy. Either you talk about the whole of the region, whole of the government, or you can choose your sector that was mentioned to you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Saroji. I think it's a very intriguing topic when you actually ask about future-proofing. In the opening ceremony, we saw the video said that 60% of our population in Indonesia is living in urban areas. And when you actually say, how do we future-proof East Java, I think the topic is saying, how do you future-proof cities? And East Java comprises of 38 municipalities, 9 of which are administratively categorized as urban municipalities or cities that are being led by mayors. And the other 29 are led by what we call as regions or region mayors, because they are not cities in terms of the land use, predominantly agriculture, natural resources. Now, how do we talk about the 9 cities? And when we talk about future-proofing cities, I think your question towards Jakarta was very specific. Like, people say your future is going to depend upon whether you're going to sink or not, right? That's a very specific question. Now, are other cities facing this same challenge? I think, first of all, when you talk about what happens in the future, is whether the city will cease to exist in the future. Is it because of the economic redundancy? We know some cities rely heavily on a particular anchor industry, or maybe a mining town that were up, and by the time the deposit is gone, then the city also ceases to exist because there's no economic continuity for that city to sustain itself. Now, when we talk about that, then cities have to, as you mentioned earlier, strive to remain relevant to the continuous change in the economic world, whether they're able to shift into relying on natural resources, and they can actually rely on the human resources, the talent pool. We see how the emergence of San Jose as the Silicon Valley is basically relying upon bringing in talents from all across the world. They have Stanford, which is nearby, and then it becomes a digital hub. And we're seeing Bangalore in India developing because of the growth of what was initially simple outsourcing of some basic IT services into becoming also a very strong digital hub. Similarly, like Shenzhen was a really buffer area of Hong Kong. People went there to buy some very very good, similar products. I don't want to say that, you know the word I mean, but it's things that you thought were branded but not, and it was sold at a cheap price with a decent quality back then. That was back in the 2007, 2008. Now, so when we talk about future-proofing cities, but our theme today is infrastructure. So when we talk about infrastructure, I think it's very important that every planners believe that they are future-proofing their cities when they do the planning. The spatial planning is going to coincide with what we call as a long-term plan. We have a 20 to 25 years long-term plan. And then you will have, in each segment, 5 years development plan. I just want to campaign with my governor, and we have a 5-year development plan that is being prepared right now. We're finalizing it. So we believe that when we actually do a plan, what are the factors or the threats, so-called threats that you mentioned? I think one of the utmost, if we put aside the question of economic redundancy, is really the ecological carrying capacity. Cities have ecological footprint that span beyond its physical size. And it consumes resources, water, energy, and then how it manages its waste. We have overall in Surabaya, every day, 1,500 tons of waste are being sent to the final dumping site. That is already considering the fact that we are reducing about 15 to 25% of the waste by reusing, by recycling. But still, you will have waste being produced. So what are the drivers of cities meeting its limit? It would be population growth. whether the city can sustain population growth, and also whether the city will, given the population growth, it will run out of fresh water. There's also concern that even, let's say, the population stagnates in the worst case, it will also face scarcity of critical resources that are needed to sustain the city. You know, you have the same population, but the source of water that you have been relying upon is reducing, you know, is facing a declining water volume, for example. Or a particular city is going to be stretched because of the growth of adjacent municipalities. So all this, I think, is, you know, to start the answer, I'm giving you an insights on the thinking of planners in various cities, that everyone try to future-proof, and I would like to go to ecological constraints as the biggest driver for a city's future-proofing.
Thank you, Emil. And one, so I'll turn to Park Vishnu, but I wanted to quickly reflect. I was recently visiting the city of Cape Town in South Africa. Can anyone tell me why city of Cape Town has been in the news for some time?
The drought.
Yeah, day zero.
Zero.
So I was with the mayor and the entire city officials a couple of months back, and they explained to me as to what day zero actually means. The day zero essentially would mean that there were basically only 3 days of water left in the city to provide even 3 hours of water per day to each household. So they basically 3 days, they were kind of close to -3 when they started, of course, implementing a number of measures, including demand management, rationing, and so on and so forth, and delivering water not through pipe but through tankers at certain locations based on et cetera, et cetera. The point I'm trying to make is that the city's ability to anticipate challenges and factor that in the planning is going to be extremely important. The mayor of Cape Town was telling me they have put together a 20-year investment plan for the city, not just for water, but all the other infrastructure. How many cities are really planning for 20 years investment today? So the question to you, Park Vishnu, is for Indonesia, where in most cities today, close to 50 to 60% people have access to improved, let's say, drinking water. You have a long way to go in future proofing. What's the strategy for the water sector in Indonesia for future proofing the urban areas?
Okay, thank you, Pak Saroj. But I'm deeply sorry to say that no one cities in Indonesia that city-proof for the future, especially in terms of water resilience, you know. Let me say, take a sample for the Surabaya city. But before I take a sample for Surabaya case, let me represent as a Perpamsi, you know. I will take some data that we have today. The Perpamsi is the association for the local water operators. We have 445 members. And the majority of them is local state-owned enterprise, while only 24 are local government agencies that we call UPT. And then, of course, our members play a crucial role in addressing water security and equitable distribution across the nation. Unfortunately, only half of our members are able to make a good profit. Furthermore, only 64 enterprise in terms of economic skill serve more than 50,000 connection. Only 64 from the 400 members, 400 water operator. And based on the 2023 data, right now we achieve only 22% coverage service nationally. That's equivalent to 16 million connection. Compared to our national target, in 2029, we need to achieve 40%. From it's been double from 22%, and 100% in 2045. In Indonesia Emas. That means that in less than 5 years we have to double our production capacity. and of course upgrading the existing facilities, and of course expand in distribution network within 5 years. Yeah. Even within less than 20 years, we have to 5 times, yeah, from 22% to 100%. Another side, in terms of water management efficiency, we should be seriously concerned about water leakage, non-revenue water. Yeah. Right now, the national NRW is on still 32%. We have to achieve 25% that determined by the government. We have big leaks, yeah, and of course inaccuracies in math readings, yeah. And most of our members are facing issues with aging water meters. Yeah, even in Surabaya, we have 300 meters with 5-year age, more than 5-year age. Even I have still 20 years water meters still installed in our connection. Yeah. Of course, we need a significant investment to replace, yeah, and even to reduce the NRW. If using the higher accuracy of the water meters, it means we have to install the ultrasonic meters with the higher ratio. It means when the investment should be triple of the existing meters. And then we need to ensure the equitable distribution of water services to all the segments of society, particularly for the underprivileged. This involves implementing affordable tariff structures. Yeah. As you may know, in fact, there are no subsidized for water tariffs. Yeah. As well as electricity and fuel. Yeah. No subsidized. Yeah. In the current situation, only few local governments provide subsidies, which are taken from their local government budgets. Most of our members apply cross-subsidies. This is the big challenge that are facing our members. And then our population projection into 2045 is around 318 million, which is equivalent to 70 million household connection.
Yeah.
So within the next 3 years, the projection indicate the urban population will reach 65%. Therefore, the water infrastructure must be prepared from now for the major city. And in the Surabaya, the problem for the Surabaya. Okay, right now we pride that Surabaya already achieved 100% service coverage, but yeah, the quality of the water doesn't meet the requirement of the drinking water. Yeah, because we have 6,300 kilometers pipeline distribution. Yeah, but most of them even more than 50%. Yeah, the aging more than 50 years. Yeah, and then the investment to replace to at least for 50% of the total pipeline length is need by the price right now is about 5 trillion. Yeah, so who will cover these investments? Yeah, this is a problem. Okay.
No, it's very good, Park Vishnu. And I've been here for the last few days and meeting the officials in the Ministry of Public Works who are responsible for water here. Today, the coordinating minister for infrastructure talked about the priorities of the president, food, water, and energy security. I think that gives everyone working in that space to really come up with a long-term vision for water security. It might take longer than 5 years, but I think it's good to have a plan. And that's the point I was making about city of Cape Town. They cannot solve all their water problems in 5 years. So that's why they're thinking of 20 years. When you plan long-term for future-proof a city, let's say for water or for energy, the investors have more confidence. When they see a city is coming up with a long-term plan, everybody is more interested to work with you because they know where you want to go. And the risk for investing in those markets is much lower than other markets where there is no predictability where the future is going to look like. So I would strongly encourage you to really benefit from the current political momentum that you have in this country to really look forward and look beyond. Let me turn to Park Nanang about the telecom sector. I think the question to you is, telecom sector actually is perhaps, in my view, the backbone of the future or the present actually, not the future. It will remain the future of any society as we can see today. I just read today that, you may have seen it, that the Meta is planning to invest another $15 billion in scale AI. The amount of money being invested in AI is unimaginable. And it just tells you that we should really prepare for a world which is very different from what it looks today. As somebody said that today the kind of jobs that we have in the global market, more than 50% of these jobs did not exist 5 years back. So the question to you is, in the telecom sector, what have you been doing to future-proof urban ecosystem of Indonesia? And if you could kindly be specific to your sector, then I want to turn to a rapid-fire round because we have only 19 minutes left. And I want to make sure that all four of you and the audience is sufficiently stimulated for preparing for a future-proof Indonesia. But please go ahead, Pak Nanang.
Okay, thank you very much for the questions. Because we are running out of time, only 20 minutes left. Make it short that basically telecom is ready and fully support to deploying a digital network within cities across Indonesia. Actually, we have already deployed more than 17 million ports for supporting fixed broadband, home pass, and home connected around Indonesia. And we have more than 280,000 BTSs, 4G and 5Gs operated in Indonesia. We have currently deploying 5G's network intensively in Jakarta and Surabaya and also Bali to support digital networking across cities in Indonesia. So that means that telecom is ready to support what government want to enhance cities, to make a smart city in Indonesia. We also equip our infrastructures, which is very extensive and advanced infrastructure with the cybersecurity features to make it the bandwidth more secure, to make people out of hackers, to make it protected, and data will be protected within the network. So our strategy here to make extensive deployment of fiber optics, connected homes, and we also deploy the core network and also the infrastructure, not only in Indonesia, but also outside Indonesia to connect contents and applications that are required by the government and also people in Indonesia. I think basically telecom will and always support what the government needs to make the cities smart and advanced and future-proof.
Thank you very much, Pak Nanang. So what I'm going to do now is that we have about 17 minutes left, and I'm going to throw a few questions. Any of you can come in, whosoever is ready. I'm not going to follow the same sequence as we did before. Is that okay? So my question is the following. The main objective of this international conference, among a few others, is to accelerate investment realization for Indonesia in the priority sectors of the government, right? Now here we are talking about accelerating investment for future-proofing of cities. So my question to you is, what is your plan? Because one of the elements of financing investments is going to be working with private sector. Focus on policy and regulatory space, addressing those business environment constraints, making it easier for people to invest, both Indonesian companies and cross-border investments. How do you see the way forward from where you sit? What are your proposals? What are you thinking about it? How do you accelerate investment? Who wants to come in? It could be a regional government, it could be a city government, it could be water sector, it could be telecom, but This is your chance to take the floor and tell us what your plans are. Please, yes.
All right, okay. Well, I think going back to the question of future-proofing and infrastructure, one way we would future-proof our cities is by building the infrastructure that expands the capacity to cater to the growing population. We build dams because we need more water for potable use or for irrigation to actually sustain a growing population. And that is really the essence. Now, however, when we actually look into infrastructure, some of these are actually infrastructure that has to be built by the government, and some can actually involve private sector in its financing. So again, the question is whether there is the money behind. Now, I think when when we look into public-private partnership, you would respond with mixed mixed feelings, because some projects actually turn out, we had this what we call as public sector comparator as a way to see whether PPP is going to provide a better modality compared to a conventional public procurement, a traditional delivery. And now we're seeing actually a mixture of both. I think when government goes to a private sector because they don't have enough money to build infrastructure, sometimes then there is also a misconception on the importance of the infrastructure itself. You mentioned about the way water utility subsidized is by having the richer bracket of the tariff compensate those with the lower bracket of the tariff, which is called cross subsidy. But we also have viability gap fund, where the government subsidizes half of the capex in order to reduce the required tariff to justify the level of the rate of return. So I think what the president wants and what the coordinating minister wants is for us to really work hard on welcoming investments into infrastructure. And I think we're shifting from a model where we say, look, we're going to open infrastructure investment, but the private sector has to be the one who really wants it to happen. They come in and then they can make this project work commercially. I think we are all past that. We understand that all too often we would encounter infrastructure projects where the government needs to have a skin in the game. Either they bear contingent liabilities. We have the CEO of IAGF here. The government has to share the risk and not pass on the risk to the private sector, because that would cause the project to have a too high of a risk premium, makes it costly, or even also participate in the funding of the project by mean of sharing revenue. Now, in short, I would like to say that what's our plan? When we actually plan our fiscal resources, it's the simplest way, especially in the local government politics, is to assume traditional delivery. And for PPP, we simply just say, look, the private sector is going to pay for everything. I think we're going one step further now to start identifying how we would then use fiscal resources to partake in infrastructure capex, or in provisioning for, like we have provisioned for contingent liabilities in the event of any shortfall in some of the important parameters of a PPP project. We are doing that in a water project right now as we speak. I think that's one of the view that is here.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Pak Emil. Would you like to come in, Pak Narang? On telecom,
Yes.
what's your investment strategy?
As you know that the telecom is very intensive capex. We have to deploy infrastructures, data centers, equipments, which we know we need a lot of capex. But in return, we really do not know exactly, because now with very high competition in Indonesia and also abroad. So I think we need also collaboration among industries and also the government to make a regulation to secure our investment here in Indonesia, to give a fair play among players in Indonesia and also from outside.
Excellent. Would you like to say anything, Pak Afan?
Okay, Mr. Sarods, I would like to share our experience in Jakarta and also our strategy for the future. In several years, we in Jakarta improve for the creative financing. So not all infrastructure in Jakarta financed by the APBD or APBN. We finance by the creative financing. Like you know, in Semanggi, we have one, and several bridges in Sudirman and Tamrin, and also some bus station close to HI and Tosari. All of them financed with the creative financing. We use the exit of the floor ratio in Jakarta. You know, actually many developers or many landowners, they would like to optimization for their land because the land price in Jakarta is very high. So they would like to construct the building very high. So they must be exit the limit of the floor ratio. And they have to pay, and the form is in infrastructure, not in financial. So in the future, we will optimization for the creative financing to build many infrastructure than needed by the citizen of the Jakarta. Thank you very much.
Pak Vishnu?
Okay, answering your question, Pak Saroj. I always remember Bu Irma said regarding the peer. Remember Bu Irma? Policy, institution, and regulation. Yeah. I think for the water sector, yeah, what we need right now is Water X. Yeah. Water is very vital for the human being, right? But we have no Water Act right now. Yeah. So we propose to the government within our water forum in Denpasar, Bu Irma, you remember that Perpamsi proposed we propose that we need Water Act or maybe Water and Domestic Waste Act, yeah, compared to our neighbor, yeah, the city of Malaysia, yeah, they have a Water Act, very very complete, and even they have for the institution, they even also have the PAAB, Pengurusan Aset Air Berhad, yeah. So they will take care all the infrastructure in the among the country. Yeah, they will give financing to the water operator for 45 years, and the rate only 3% compared to the SMI. Yeah, the rate still 6% with a lot of negotiation, hard negotiation. You know, so the one thing is the policy. We need the Water X, yeah, and the institution, we need I don't know, the national entity that will take over all the water business from the source till to tap, yeah, and then the regulation, yeah. I think no one of the investor want to B2B partnership with the local operator if the tariff still less than FCR, cannot cover the full cost recovery. Yeah, our member more than 15% of our members still apply the tariff less than full cost recovery. That's the problem. So we need a regulation that regulate the tariff among all the water operator should be meet the economical scale. Yeah, let's say for the Jakarta has a B2B business, right, Pak Arfan, with Moya, I think, yeah, with the value is around 33 trillion. Is that correct, Pak? Yeah. But the situation right now, they have to increase the price. Yeah, from the average tariff, I think from 7,000 to more than 10,000. Yeah. Same with the Surabaya. Surabaya for more than 70 years, the tariff still less than, not increased. Yeah. After 70 years, we increased from 30,000 to 40,000. Yeah. So that's why the investor want to join us in B2B partnership. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you. I wanted to ask a question to each one of you, something that organizers asked us to discuss is, so in our aspirations for a future-proof city in Indonesia, future-proof urban space, how do we make sure that we do not lose sight of poor and vulnerable communities? Because there's always a risk that when things are changing rapidly because of technology, smart infrastructure. Not everybody is able to kind of move at the same space. There are poorer people living in a city. How do you make sure that everything that you do in your space, in telecom, in water, in regional government, in city government, no one is left behind? How do you make sure that you take care of poor and vulnerable people? I guess this question is more relevant for Pak Emil and Pak Afan, but others also please come in. I want to make sure that this point is not ignored, because there's still poverty, there is still issue of access for many people in areas. Who'd like to come in? Pak Emil?
Since you pointed out, just give you an illustration. When we talk about future proofing, sometimes it's something inevitable because of external factors. Sometimes we're just committing suicide on the long term by actually designing cities that are not going to be sustainable, that are hurting its resources. Now, as you mentioned earlier, one of the things is extraction of groundwater. So very often the poor community relies on abstracting groundwater, and they do not have access to reticulated water. And so when we actually try to future-proof the city by relying on a more sustainable water resource, we use certain wells that actually retain the water. Those who will benefit the most are actually the marginalized people, because they're the ones who are immediately affected by all these setbacks that are happening in cities. So I'm more of the view that when we try to future-proof cities by improving the infrastructure that ensures people have access to the amenities they need, the immediate beneficiary of such infrastructure would actually be those marginalized people. I mean, sometimes they live in slums on the riverside, causing unsustainable river that has deteriorating quality biologically, or also other aspects that jeopardize the reliability of the fresh water, for example. So when we actually deal with the settlements for these people, it goes in line into creating a more sustainable river and a sustainable settlements for the marginalized community. That's actually my view.
Excellent. Anybody else wants to take this question? Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Pak Nanang, yeah.
Telco.
And quick.
Okay. Telco sector duty is to provide connectivity to all people, we also have many solutions for the richest till to the poor, with the different technology and the different price. So with that scheme, I believe that we can serve all people that we need connectivity in Indonesia.
Thank you. Pak Afan?
Okay, Mr. Saroj. To help many citizens coming from the marginalized group, in Jakarta since May 2025, the governor of Jakarta, Mr. Pramono, established the new regulation. We expand the category for eligible groups in Jakarta that could get the free access for public transport in Jakarta. So they can use our MRT, BRT free with no charge. The category that expand are first, person with disability. And the second is senior citizens, aged more than 60 years. And third, worship place caretaker. And the fourth, educator and teaching staff in early childhood education. We call it in Indonesia, PAUD. This is the popular name. And the fifth is the mosquito nest monitoring workers. We call it in Jakarta, Jumantik, juru pemantau jentik nyamuk. So we expand the category of eligible groups, and they get the free access to our public transport. Thank you.
Excellent. Very quick, then I have the 1 minute left. Yeah.
Okay, regarding in terms of water technology, I think it's not rocket science, Pak. Yeah. But we have to strongly consider to apply seawater reverse osmosis due to the, raw water resiliency, because day by day the rainy season is coming shorter. So I think especially this coastal city, yeah, we have to apply seawater resource osmosis, Pak. Thank you.
Thank you. I will give you 10 seconds to each of you to visualize what will 2050 Indonesia urban space look like when we talk about future-proof. One sentence each. Just give us, share your dream of 2050 Indonesia, a future-proof city. You can take Jakarta, you can take Balikpapan, you can take, I don't know all the cities in this country, but take any city of Bali. Tell me, 2050 of that city, a future-proof, what has come to your mind? I'll start from the end, Pak Nanang. Quick.
Everything will be in one hand with our gadget.
Everything will be under one, let's say, in a phone, on a tab, or in an app or something, okay?
Exactly.
Pak Vishnu?
We have 4 taps, Pak, like Singapore. Yeah, so we can take the water not only from the river, yeah, but also
Our
from
time
the
is up, so quick.
for water, for raining, yeah, and the seawater and reuse water, Pak.
Integrated water, okay. New water. Pak Emil?
3
2050,
words.
your vision, yes.
Culture, technology, and ecology. Everything blends together.
Wonderful. Pak Afan?
Yeah, we in Jakarta, we will have many vertical housing, and also we will expand for the railway base and the BRT system in Jakarta. And we expand also for the green ratio in Jakarta. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that brings us to the end of the panel. Please give them a round of applause. And I'm sorry, I hope I was not too difficult on you, but I was trying to get the most out of this panel. But thank you very much. It was really a pleasure to be moderating this. Thank you. And thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you very Thank you. Excellencies, you may all return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached our lunch break. So please enjoy your meal and take this opportunity to network and recharge and perhaps having casual conversations with the future clients, the future collaborators. And at 12:30 p.m., we'll commence our thematic discussions that will be held across several parallel rooms. Each session will delve deeper into strategic issues shaping Indonesia's urban infrastructure. So please ensure that you attend the room and the theme that best align with your interest. And here are the thematic discussions and their respective venues for your information. At Mereka 1, they will be having a discussion on powering growth, sustainable energy through infrastructure. At Plenary Hall, which is this hall, we'll be having Building a Connected Nation, expanding digital and telco infrastructure. And if you go to Mereka 3, you'll find a discussion revolving around from waste to resource, advancing integrated infrastructure for waste management. And at Mereka 2, the discussion is on moving cities forward, public transport as the core of urban mobility. So once again, please make your way to the designated rooms with a thematic theme that align to your interest by 12:30 p.m. All sessions will run until 1:45 p.m. this afternoon. And we'll then return to the plenary session at 12:30 p.m. for a keynote address from the Minister of Home Affairs on the theme Empowering Local Governments, Serving Citizens, Strengthening Basic Urban Services. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have used the SIS devices, please kindly return the interpretation devices to the collection counter by the exit as you leave the room. Thank you for helping us keeping things running smoothly.